So Todd Howard just sat down with Kinda Funny Games and finally gave us some real clarity on what is actually going on with Starfield and the future of Bethesda Game Studios. And honestly, it kind of feels good to talk about fact for once instead of just chasing rumors all the time. So if you're new here and you love all things Starfield, RPGs, Bethesda games, consider leaving a like at the least and a sub at the most. Thank you so much. Let's go. For the past few months, a lot of us, including myself, have been making Starfield 2.0 videos, and we've heard a lot about big internal changes from, whispers from leakers, comments from former developers, and even small bits of code that people have dug up after updates, and it all started painting this picture that something major was happening. So when asked about Starfield and what exactly is going on, Todd says this.
Yeah, look, obviously we've been working on a lot of Starfield content. We haven't talked about it yet because, the end of last year too is particularly, for us, we sort of period of time where we focus on IPs or franchises, and Fallout really obviously dominated the fall and a little bit early this year. You've seen it, and I can tell everybody we're going to be talking about it, really soon. We're moving into a phase where we're ready to talk about Starfield.
Okay.
And really show that in the right way and what's coming to the game. We've been doing a lot of work that we like a lot.
He made it clear that Bethesda is working on a lot of content for the game and that internally they really like what they are working on, which is obviously PR speak to an extent, but it is always a good sign when a studio still believes in a project and is actively building on it. That means it's not being quietly pushed aside. Todd is then asked about expectations and what we should expect for a Starfield 2.0 update.
It is not Starfield 2.0. I've seen some of that, so I don't, for expectation setting, I think it's the kind of thing where if you love Starfield, we think you're going to love this. It's, updates and things that, change the game, not in an isolated way, but sort of, meta.
Sure.
Using outer space and things in ways that we haven't. But look, if Starfield's something that, didn't connect with you right away, or you bounced off it or found it boring in places, I don't think this is going to change that fundamentally. But if you're someone who loves Starfield, like you, Greg, we think it's really, really, we're really, really happy with it. We like it a lot. And we have such a big audience on the game. It's really like a Game Pass hours beast in terms of Starfield for us. And, we're really, really, happy with the results, and our audience is great.
So Todd pretty much shuts down the idea that this was some massive reinvention of the game. He explained that what they're working on is not going to fundamentally change Starfield at its core like a lot of us, would expect. And that is the key word here, core, because for a lot of players, it was not surface level features that turned them off. It was the structure. It was the way exploration felt. It was the way space travel functioned, the overall flow of the experience, and so on and so forth. So Todd made it clear that if you bounced off of Starfield early on, and if you found it boring or it just did not click with you, this upcoming update is not going to suddenly flip a switch and make you love it. And that's really important to understand, especially with a game and a studio that has the pedigree that Bethesda does. This content and these updates are really aimed at the people who already loved Starfield, the ones who are still playing, the ones who enjoy the systems, the quests, the factions, the universe itself. And honestly, for fans of the game, that's really great news. It means Bethesda is doubling down on what works for their core audience instead of trying to completely reshape the identity of the game. And it is refreshing to hear this directly from Todd instead of running around in circles with speculation. The speculation can be fun, sure, but at some point you just want some clarity, and now we have a little bit of that. When asked about when we will see the updates, Todd simply said soonish, with classic Todd answer, and that could mean a lot of things, but it also lines up with the reports about a potential late March window for more news, possibly alongside a PlayStation port announcement. So if that ends up being true, it would make sense to bundle a platform expansion together with a big content drop, like we've talked about here on this channel before. Either way, it sounds like we're not going to be waiting too much longer to see what Bethesda has been cooking up for Starfield. Now, shifting things over to the Elder Scrolls 6, Todd was asked how development is going And Todd sort of deflects the question slightly and just states that the majority of the developers are indeed working on The Elder Scrolls 6 and that it is actually about to pass a big milestone in terms of development. In terms of milestones, that could be the very first milestone for all we know, but all joking aside, it is good news if anything. It could be something technical, something related to content, or something structural, but any milestone being hit on a project that big is still good news. And then came the engine talk.
Several years bringing Creation Engine 2, which powers Starfield, up to Creation Engine 3, that's going to power Elder Scrolls 6 and beyond.
Todd confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6 will be running on the Creation Engine 3, and for reference, Starfield runs on Creation Engine 2, so this is another step forward in terms of Bethesda's in-house tech. Now, I know that Creation Engine is a hot topic, a lot of people criticize it, but at the same time, Bethesda games are Bethesda games because of that engine. The object persistence, the interactivity, the sheer number of systems running at once, those things are tied directly to their tech, and upgrading to Creation Engine 3 makes complete sense if the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be as massive as people expect, if it is going to push scale, detail, and systemic depth even further, then an engine upgrade is necessary. And from everything that has been hinted at over the years, it sounds like they're aiming big, and you cannot do that without evolving your tech. So what do you guys think about Todd Howard saying that the Starfield overhaul is really for the diehard fans and not meant to fundamentally change the game? For people who didn't like it, are you expecting that we get more content at all? How do you feel about the Elder Scrolls 6 running on the Creation Engine 3? We're at number 3, baby. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like at the least and a sub at the most, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.